So hello, welcome to Short Circuits, and today I have with me these SMD LEDs. They are small LEDs. SMD stands for Surface Mount Device. So these LEDs can be mounted directly on the surface. They have got small conducting pads beneath this. So this is negative and this large one is positive. And this LED fits directly onto the conducting pads like this. So usually there are square conducting pads which are fabricated on this PCB, but here I have a perf board. So I will try to solder this SMD LEDs on the perf board. Let's see whether it's possible or not. I've seen many people soldering this SMD LEDs, but they have some solder paste and a reflow machine, but I have just one soldering iron, and I'm using this small tip to just apply heat on this area, and my idea is that the solder will melt on this junction and the LED will be stuck to the pads. So let's see whether I can successfully solder this LED on this perf board, and further, if I am successful, I will make a LED matrix, a display of 12 by 8 matrix, which I will control by microcontroller. So first let me show you how bright this LED is. It's made in India and this is its part number. Its forward voltage is 1.8 to 2.4, which is common for a red LED, and its forward current is 20 milliampere. Quantity is 100 pieces and it's made on this year, April. Fresh manufactured LED, and it comes in such type of packaging, a flexible plastic ribbon, and we have to buy it in quantity, 100 pieces or maybe greater than that. So it has got a minimum order quantity. Let's test this LEDs, how bright they are. So here I have got one 3 volt source. This 3 volt I am providing it through this 220 ohm resistor. So the current will be 3 volts divided by 220, which gives us 14 milliampere. So this 14 milliampere will be fed to this LED, and it's very bright. It's hard for me to see it. It's that bright. The brightness is impressive. It's very bright. So it's good for displays because I want such type of brightness. If you are looking at the display from a long distance, then it has to be bright in order for it to be visible. So let's try to solder this SMD LED. So now I'm going to show you how to solder SMD components on this perf board. So here I have, these all are soldered. So here I have one extra SMD LED which I'm going to place above the pads where I want the soldering to be done. So these are the two pads. I'm going to place it here like this, and now I'm going to clean this tip, and I'm going to take some solder on this tip, and I'm going to hold this with my hands. Like this, just slight touch. Now flip this. And yes, it's done. So to see whether the joint is proper or not, I have this battery, these 3 volts. So I'm going to yes, it's working. So the SMD component is soldered properly. and in this way I've soldered all this. So there is an issue with the placement, but it's okay. And in this way you can solder SMD components without any flow or solder paste. So the soldering of all SMD LEDs is done, and all the vertical tracks are connected to positive, and all these horizontal lines are connected to negative. So these are the column and row selecting lines which will select the LED. So these are the data lines, and these are the lines which we are going to multiplex. So now let's test this board. So all the LEDs are soldered properly and they are working. So now the board is ready to be connected to a microcontroller along with some shift registers. So one shift register will send data and another shift register will multiplex this 8 LEDs at high speed, such that we will see a message on this signboard. But before that we need to make a constant current source for these LEDs, because this requires 20 milliampere. So one resistor will work, but we want to change the brightness because we don't want the brightness of this board to be constant.